What's up, guys? This is Ray. Welcome to Asian Filmist, and today we'll be talking about the 2016 Japanese film Chihayafuru, directed by Koizumi Norihiro and starring Hirose Suzu, Nomura Shuhei, and at the time he was just called Mackenyu, but now he's called Arata Mackenyu. This movie is based off a manga, which I haven't read, but this is one of those movies where it definitely piqued my interest into at least wanting to check the manga out. So the story of Chihayafuru, it's about these three childhood friends, Chihaya, Taichi, and Arata. And when they were in elementary school, they were part of a karuta club. Karuta is this competitive card game, which I'll get to in a little bit later. But they're part of this club growing up, and they were pretty damn good at it. But then right before they went into their junior high school days, Arata had to move back to his hometown in Fukui Prefecture. And so pretty much they kind of reunite again in high school. Well, at least Chihaya and Taichi do. They reunite in Mitsuzawa High School, where they are both brand new first-year students. Chihaya is still keeping the karuta dream alive, and she's trying to make a karuta club in her school, but she needs a total of 5 members. So she convinces Taichi to join, but she and Taichi eventually gather 3 more students to form a 5-member karuta club. So they train hard, they work hard to work towards winning the Tokyo All-City Championships, and all the while hoping that they can once again meet Arata. Now, before I dive into my review, a little bit about karuta. I think any of us who has taught English in Japan, I'm pretty sure a lot of other countries know a little bit of what karuta is. Basically, you have like a reader, announcer of some sort. They kind of say something, and that basically makes the players of karuta reach for a card as quick as they can. That's the basic of karuta. It makes for some pretty fun and easy English classroom games. But in the version of karuta in this movie is called Kyogi Karuta, which is basically you have one reader. He or she recites a classical Japanese poem, and when she starts reading the second verse, it's split into 2 verses. She reads the first verse, and then when she starts reading or singing the second verse, the competitors have to reach the appropriate card as quick as they can. But yes, let's talk about the positives of Chihayafuru. You know, I absolutely love the performers and the characters that they portray. You know, we have Hirose Suzu, who plays Chihaya. She's kind of the karuta maniac, the overly energetic girl who doesn't let go of her dreams. She knows nothing but karuta. And overall, you know, Hirose Suzu, she's absolutely cute. I'm pretty sure any of you who has seen a Hirose Suzu movie know exactly what I'm talking about. She definitely has that charm, that appeal in this movie. And not only Chihaya, but you know, every character is likable, unique, and memorable in their own way. You know, like take Taichi, for instance. You know, he's more than just the good-looking lead boy in this movie. He did something dirty when playing karuta as a child. He played like this dirty trick to kind of take advantage of his opponent. So he feels like that was the time, that was the day when the gods of karuta have left him, and he's been kind of unlucky at the game since then, and it kind of has drifted away from the game, only recently to come back thanks to Chihaya. And then we have Meat Bun, who's loud and is usually seen eating, well, a meat bun. You know, Meat Bun's just his nickname, of course, but he provides the comic relief of this movie. And then you have Kana, who's obsessed with the poetry that is written on these karuta cards. And you know what she does is she not only gives basically background to the viewer, to us, about these classical Japanese poems, the background of how they're written, and also interpretations, ones we might have not have interpreted until she would have said something. And then you have Desk, because every group needs an antisocial intellectual type, and that is Desk. But he's more than that, because he's antisocial, he's not used to having friends. He reluctantly joins the club, but what he does is that he goes through an arc and ultimately acts as the glue, which ultimately cements everyone's friendship and team spirit. And then of course we have Arata, the third wheel out of the trio, but you know, he's kind of enigmatic throughout the majority of this story, but that's because it's obvious that they're building him up for some kind of rivalry which will happen in the future. If you haven't seen Chihayafuru already, this is actually the first movie in a trilogy, and you know, the first movie the first two movies came out 1 month after each other, and then the third movie came out, I want to say, 2 years later. And pretty much all the cast have come back for each of the movies in this trilogy. Yes, going back to the game Karuta, what I really like is that this movie does a great job in explaining Karuta, especially to those who may not have been familiar with the game until now. And when I say that, I mean people who haven't lived or know nothing about Japan, who just like anime or just like stuff about Japan, well, not actually being in Japan. I think those of us who have lived in Japan, Japanese or not, kind of know what karuta is or have seen it in some way, shape, or form. At first, I was kind of concerned that maybe someone who knows nothing about Japan or even knows Japanese, the Japanese language, might not understand karuta well enough to appreciate the movie. But that certainly isn't the case in real life. If you don't know any Japanese, you try to play Kyogi Karuta, you'll definitely be lost. But in the context of this movie lets you sit back and relax. You get the background of Karuta, but that's not necessarily the focus of the narrative. You can be entertained with this movie without knowing Japanese at all, and just so long as you know the background of the story and the importance of these cards and the poems that are written on them, you can still have an entertaining time. And I think what helps this level of entertainment are the visuals. First of all, the colors are very vibrant of this movie. They're especially the color red, and it's reflective of the main character's favorite poem, which is written on these karuta cards. And then enhancing the vivid colors is the superb use of slow motion in this movie. Like, there are so many, like with the first moment you meet Chihaya, it's kind of cheesy first. It was lifted. I felt like it was lifted straight from the manga, where she rushes out of the door and there are these cherry blossom petals that just flutter all around her as she runs through the door, and it's in super slow motion. And it's funny, it's cheesy as all hell. It sets the tone for what you can expect for the remainder of the story. And the slow motion, it does well in enhancing the dramatic, the emotional, and overall just hype moments in the movie, especially when it comes to them playing karuta. When it slows down and they're slapping cards off the tatami mat, it's hype. It's a lot of fun. And I dig the music. The main theme song of the story, you'll hear it numerous times throughout the movie from the very first scene. It's addicting to listen to, as it is just soothing and relaxing, and invokes this kind of dreamlike atmosphere. I think it does well in reflecting the kind of level of focus that Chihaya and her teammates do when it comes to playing karuta, and when they're all calmed down and just ready to do battle. And it's something small, but this is just me personally, but one thing I like is that when a movie presents the potential to dive into a lot of romantic comedy territories and they don't actually do it, they just kind of tease it. For me, I actually dig it, and this movie does that. You present a situation where either it's going to be happening soon, but it doesn't happen in this first movie. The first movie is just meant to introduce you to the characters and the game mainly, and build up your relationship with your connection to these characters. But it doesn't actually dive into any romantic plot threads, and that's something I like, because it gives us more time to figure out these characters. Let us get to know their skills, their background stories, and all. And overall, just be entertained with the game of karuta. When it comes to negatives about this movie, I don't actually have much to anything to say, but if I had to nitpick, is that you can't watch this movie without watching the sequel. I mean, first, in the theaters, they released one month after the other, but even that 1 month was a pretty long time to wait. I mean, they leave you with all these cliffhangers at the end of the movie, and they even have a stinger at the end credits that acts as a preview for the next movie, similar to as if you were watching a weekly TV drama, and they show, like, next time on this drama, it shows clips from the next movie. That's what this movie does, and it's a huge tease, especially if you're waiting for its theatrical release like I was. Overall, what do I have to say about Chihayafuru? It's a fantastic movie. It's greatly entertaining, and I absolutely recommend it. If you enjoy watching movies involving the underdogs, involving the Japanese style of slice of life, and of course high school drama, then this movie is definitely for you. It has a charismatic cast, gripping scenes of competition, and just a wonderful story of friendship and camaraderie in the face of adversity. Because, you know, after all, they are a team. They compete in karuta team battles against other high school teams. So it's not just one-on-one battles as one would imagine. It's actually these teams competing against each other, supporting each other, and providing moral support with one each other. And you really feel like this movie delivers that message, delivers that theme exceptionally well. But yes, those are my thoughts on Chihayafuru Part 1. I'll probably review Chihayafuru Part 2 sometime soon, maybe Part 3. I don't know if I'll get around to that this month, if I have the time. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you really dig my content, please know you can support Asian Films via Patreon from as little as $1. And yeah, that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope to catch y'all again in the next video. Take it easy.